Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Reichow, and this is our slideshow on ableism. This is the introduction into ableism within America. Ableism refers to discrimination and prejudice against individuals with disabilities based on the belief that those without impairments or disabilities are above them. It encompasses both overt and subtle forms of discrimination, often resulting in barriers or exclusions for those with disabilities, and we'll learn more about that, especially within schools and government buildings and laws that prevented many people with disabilities from getting the opportunities that they deserved, especially in the 1900s and early 2000s. Ableism can be eliminated, giving those who deserve their opportunities the equal rights as stated in our amendments and laws that we have in place today, especially within the last 20 years. There's been many advancements for this issue. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide now. So this is the statement of the issue that we have written up for ableism. Ableism, a form of discrimination America has been fighting against since the early 1900s, still poses challenges despite social awareness efforts, advancements in law and legislative ideas. Ableist views and thinking still exist, which causes problems for those with disabilities and impairments. Schools were only recently, within the last 50 years, granted more advancements within special education for those who require it. And from there, we see many improvements, but it has slowed down, and there are still issues within our schools and government buildings. So that was our statement of the issue, and let's move on to the next slide that Anjali will be presenting for us.
Hello, my name is Anjali Dowling, and I will be highlighting the historic and present day context of ableism in the United States for our social media campaign. This section is important because it shows how deep the roots of ableism truly run and how prevalent of an issue it remains in today's society. I'm going to speak about the historical context of ableism pertaining to discrimination, the forced sterilization of disabled individuals, and ableism in relation to eugenics, as well as legal and social achievements in civil rights in recent years. Ableism has a long history in the United States. Disabled people have experienced forced sterilization, segregated living in institutions, discrimination in the workforce, and rejection in education. In 1927, the infamous Supreme Court case Buck v. Bell granted constitutional approval for the sterilization of people deemed mentally disabled. In the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes, the former Chief of Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, 3 generations of imbeciles are enough. This eugenic-based sterilization led to tens of thousands of forcible sterilization procedures for mentally disabled men and women, including incarcerated people and people of color. Forcible sterilization may seem like an inhumane and outdated procedure that could only exist in the Dark Ages, but it is to this day protected by law in the United States, and although uncommon, is still practiced in more than 30 states. In the 1800s, the eugenics movement was founded. The eugenics sought to further humanity by only breeding desirable characteristics into people. This idea that only certain people were deserving of carrying forth the human race was principal to the United States' own segregation laws and was seen in Buck v. Bell as stated previously. It was also revealed in the Nuremberg trials after World War II that the US sterilization program was used as an inspirational model for similar practices in Nazi Germany. Treatment and perceptions of disability have developed since the 1900s, and this is largely in part to people with disabilities demanding and creating those changes. To date, the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, and the subsequent Amendments Act, which was passed in 2008, have been the movement's greatest legal achievements. The ADA is a major civil rights law that prohibits discrimination of people with disabilities in many aspects of public life. They protect rights such as employment, transportation, public accommodations, communications, and access to state and local government programs and services. The disability rights movement continues to work hard for equal rights. However, challenges still remain today. Despite the steps that have been taken in protecting the rights of individuals with disabilities, ableism still exists in the beliefs of many Americans and their attitudes towards disabled people. These ableist beliefs or practices devalue and discriminate against people with disabilities and assume that they need to be fixed or adapt to their environments, instead of the environment supporting them. Some common examples of this are buildings being designed with no ramps or lifts for wheelchairs, information being unavailable or in an accessible format such as Braille or American Sign Language. Overall, the work that has been done in an effort to make amends and provide legal protection to the rights of those living with disabilities has made a difference, but there is so much more to be done as ableism is still an active issue in American society. To recap, our social media campaign is focused on disability awareness and ableism in America. I spoke about the historical and current context of ableism in America, which hopefully provided some depth to the importance of this issue. We hope that by sharing this information via social media, that others will understand the importance of disability awareness and how prevalent and deeply harmful ableism is. Again, my name is Anjali Dowling. I am happy to introduce the next speaker, Mariana, who will be addressing our social media campaign.
Hi, my name is Mariana Malimon, and I'll be talking about our social media campaign. For our social media campaign, we went with the Instagram as our platform, and this is our account. Already, we are engaging and connecting with other campaigns like ours. Our posts will be aimed at the general public to not only introduce the fight against ableism to some, but also to help educate those who want to learn about our campaign. And the next thing I want to talk about is who, what, and where are affected on ableism. And as you already know, our topic is ableism, and we chose it because it is a common mistake people make, and sometimes even without realizing it. Ableism is a negative view of disability, or in other words, discrimination against disabled people. Understanding this, we can see that people with disabilities are affected by ableism. Ableism can include assuming people can't do something for themselves or assuming a physical disability is a product of laziness or lack of exercise, basically bullying people with disabilities and not taking them seriously. Ableism can result in loneliness and isolation, chronic stress, anxiety, and worry around future instances of ableism, depression, and a sense of hopelessness. A medical news site states that ableism affects society as a whole by reducing access to transport, education, and the internet, increasing levels of unemployment, and increasing poverty. Ableism shows the way people think of mental or physical disabilities. The second point I want to talk about is the future implications. And if ableism will not be cut out or stopped, the level of disagreement, stress, anxiety, and everything that is caused by ableism will rise. As it was mentioned before, there is a reduced access to education for disabled people, which causes the unemployment rate to go up and also bring the poverty rate up. People with disabilities are being treated differently, which they usually don't like, even if they are treated better. There's this quote by Solange Nicole: "There's still nothing more debilitating about a disability than the way people treat you over it." Ableism can only worsen the situation for those disabled and impaired. Ableism is out of hatred and cannot be solved until the hatred stops. I'll let Christian lead us to the conclusion.
In conclusion, overall, the work that has been done in an effort to make amends and provide legal protection to the rights of those living with disabilities has made a difference, but there's still much more to do and to be done, as ableism is still an active issue in America's society today. Although within the last 100 years, there has been many great strides to provide schools and government buildings with more laws and equality adjustments to fix the accessibility in them. There's still work to be done, and through our social media campaign and more awareness, we can get these problems fixed. So thank you, class, for listening to our presentation. We hope you learned something. If you want to connect with us on social media, we have left our @ in the presentation, so go ahead and connect with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.